Hi, it's the ReBrainer trainer here with you again today. Yesterday, or the last one, we just covered what are some of the key design principles for cognitive exercises. You remember cognitive exercises is anything that helps someone with a learning disability improve their brain function. So that can be someone with a learning disability, someone with ADD, ADHD, memory or thinking issues related to prior drug use, stroke impairment, any sort of thing that interferes with normal thinking. And that can include right to what they call globally impaired people, which, you know, is a nice way of saying mentally challenged, or what we used to say back in the day, and it wasn't a slam, but that's the word we used, retarded. So everyone's brain function can be increased, I believe, and there's more and more support for that idea. So some of the key elements were that you work at an appropriate level, just like physiotherapy. If you're trying to rebuild something, you don't ask someone to go and lift 50 pounds if all they can handle is 5. You want to rebuild the muscle in the case of physiotherapy, or in the case of cognitive therapy, with learning disabilities, most likely what you're doing is actually building the muscle up for the first time, the brain muscle as it were. You want to use things with a relatively simple design, so you're not looking for complicated things. You're not working at the academic level. You're working sort of at a core process below that. But while they're simple, what you're looking for is a way to layer the exercises so that they can be increased in intensity. You're looking for a way to artificially bring intensity to it, and that the best way is to avoid friction between yourself if you're training this person or helping them and the intensity. So a couple of ways to do that are use of a stopwatch, use of a metronome, for instance. I alluded to that yesterday. That requires intensity to make sure that you're on track, on beat, just like a musician is. That's a tough skill to learn when you're first learning music. So it's no less complicated to add that to something, to make something relatively simple much more complicated, to have to output on a rhythm, if you will. And there's support for that whole notion. And again, the feedback. You've got to give your person you're working with feedback, immediate feedback. Often they'll know if they've done something wrong. The feedback in that case might be positive feedback to keep them on track, or it might be simply feedback, hey, let's keep going. There's no mental holiday here, as I used to call it. You don't get to take a vacation for a couple of seconds, regroup. We've got to keep pushing through this stuff, and that's what also helps create a level of intensity. So those are some of the basic design elements. I thought I'd touch on a couple of things today before I actually started to show you some of the ways you can design exercises, some of the things I've done, some of the things I've seen off the internet, and what have you. There's a wealth of information out there that's available for free if you keep searching on the internet and you look. And people like to show you little snippets. They don't show you the whole thing, but if you see enough of them, you can start to dope it out and figure out what's going on. And as I've done, buy different products, of course, that works too. But between the combination of the two, buying some relatively inexpensive products and understanding some of the core principles, you can develop and design your own cognitive exercises for someone, including yourself if you have problems, right? And again, I like to work on working memory as one of the key elements, because you can improve so many things if you work on that. It's just such a building block for everything else. Okay, so I did think I wanted to touch on one thing. Was the stimulant therapy help, right, for ADD people? Because, you know, a lot of people, they want to go out there and put their kids on Ritalin or Adderall or something like that. And what the National Institutes of Health says, and that's the sort of a governing body for health authority in the States, their consensus statement, and that's all their sort of best scientists looking at all the data and coming up with what is called this consensus statement. So what they say about it is, as measured by activity attention indices, patients with varying levels and types of problems, and even possibly unaffected individuals, may benefit from stimulant therapy. They're saying they can benefit. These studies have established the efficacy of stimulants and psychosocial treatments for alleviating the symptoms of ADHD and associated aggressiveness. Of concern are the consistent findings that despite the improvement in core symptoms, there is little improvement in academic achievement or social skills. So they're telling you, yeah, things will look better, your kid will be more under control, and maybe your social life is going to go better with your children or what have you. They'll be able to sit down in the classroom. But if you're looking for improvement on the root problem, Adderall and Ritalin and things like that are not the way to tackle it. The way you need to tackle it is at the core, and their inability to pay attention demands a role like a cognitive therapy role. So I just thought I'd touch on that because I kind of ran into that myself. Okay, I'm going to stop this. I'm going to refocus the whole thing and show you some of these exercises, how they can be designed. Okay?